Hey everybody, Dave here, and I want to go through my M1 Finance portfolio. It's brand new basically. You know, I didn't officially introduce this portfolio, so let's go ahead and officially introduce my M1 Finance portfolio and go through the positions I have in there. So let's go ahead and get started. We're logged into my M1 Finance portfolio here, and you know, this account is brand new. I signed up through Mike's personal finance through his link. He got 10 bucks, I got 10 bucks. And you know, now we're off to the races. I basically put 500 bucks in there just to get the account open and get us the free money. And you know, over one of my last videos I talked about that I was going to be putting some more money in here. So I basically invested $20,000 into this platform. We got $19,000 in cash is sitting there waiting to be invested. I invested another $1,000 last week in the market, and I basically said that was going to be dollar cost averaging my way in. The portfolio already is up 1.9%, and you know, had I put the 20 grand in there, it'd be up quite a bit, right? But you never know what the market's going to do, so that's the reason why I dollar cost average. So let's go ahead and take a look at what positions I have in here. So I did add some more positions in here from basically one of my other update videos I did, where I kind of was just talking about the M1 Finance that I basically opened an account. But let's go ahead and go through my slices that I have in here officially. So basically, as you can see, I have a bunch of Vanguard ETFs in here, which are basically essentially, in my opinion, the best ETFs on the planet. You cannot find any better ETFs than VTI, for example. Best ETF on the planet. So I got VTI here, which is the total stock market, which is basically a breakdown of the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, basically, you know, all US stocks theoretically. So if you just want to invest, you know, 10 grand and, you know, that's what you want to invest in, invest that. You can invest in all the US stocks. That's not a bad way to go in my opinion. So I'm, you know, 75%. If whatever I invest is going to be 75% is going to the VTI. I have 15% going into the Vanguard REITs, which pays a little bit higher dividend. I like that one, so that's why I have 15% going into there. I got the Vanguard High Dividend ETF here, which has got some higher dividend stocks in there, at 5% going into that. So I have the emerging markets. Okay, that's basically some of those European and, you know, all those smaller markets over there, okay, the DAX and whatnot. So that's 2% going into that. The total international market, okay, that's 2% going into that, okay. And then I have the BND, the total bond market. I got 1% going to that. I'm not a huge fan of bonds at all. If you heard some of my other videos, I talk about that all the time. But it can play a role, so that's why I got 1% going in there. It's not 1% of my overall net worth. It's just 1% of this account, okay? The thing is, you know, as I invest more money into here, you know, and these get off, you know, out of balance or whatever, what I might do is, you know, depending on what's happening in the rest of the world, you know, if the emerging markets are going down or the, you know, international markets are going down, then I might readjust some of these. I might take some out of the REITs, might take some out of the Vanguard VTI here and dump it into those, and vice versa, okay? So I'm not going to be trading a lot in here. I'll be putting money in, but as if I see things get out of balance, or if I'm up 10% in international or emerging markets, then I'm going to take some of that money off and put it in some of the decliners, okay? So bonds are doing very well right now, at least over the last 6 months. So I don't anticipate those going up very much more, at least in my opinion, but I'm not really a bond trader, so I really couldn't tell you. So you know, I mean, I can dig into every one of these here, and you can see what the average price is and all that. I do have them in one of my portfolios on my Google spreadsheets, which I'll pop up in another video soon. But so the dividend yield on this is 3.7%. Okay, so that's for the REIT position. All right, so that's not too bad. You know, I think the total stock market's got a 1.7 or something, 1.87% dividend yield, okay? And that's pretty much right in line with what inflation is, so you're not really buying that for the dividend. So let's look at the emerging markets here. Emerging markets, 2.74% yield there. And let's see here, let's take a look at the total international stock market, and that one's 3% yield on that, okay? Expense ratio, look at that, super low, right? That is the reason why I love these Vanguard ETFs, okay? And let's go ahead and take a look at the last one here, the bond. And the bond has a yield of 2.72%, okay? So that's not bad. I mean, you could throw money in there and just let it sit in there, right? But I think the bonds are up like 7% this year. So if you put money in there and it goes down 7%, it'll take you 3 years just to break even on that. So that's pretty much what's in my M1 Finance portfolio. I will be investing this $19,000 basically as market pulls back. I'll probably, stick another $5,000 and invest another $5,000 to bring this down to 15 over the next week or two, and I don't really care if the market drops at this point. I'm going to dollar cost average. So, once this 19,000 gets invested, then who knows, I might invest more into this platform. I might bleed some out of my notes and put it in here, or I might bleed it out of my trading account. But, it all depends on what the market does. So that's the introduction of my M1 Finance portfolio. Go ahead and take a look at Mike's personal finance. He's got a pretty sweet setup on his M1 Finance portfolio. So let's go ahead and end this video here. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them below. And go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.